peered at the family as they lay in bed. The next day, one of the man's sons was surprised to discover two strange balls outside the hut. One was entirely black, and the other black and white. When the father came out to look at them, they apparently rose up at him and enveloped him in a cloud of yellow smoke. He was never seen again. Shortly afterwards, the son was reported to have been taken into custody by the Brazilian army, some say as a means of silencing him. Another astonishing encounter occurred in 1973 near the town of Catanduva, Brazil. The 70s were to prove the heyday of South American encounters, and this is perhaps one of the most sensational. A traveling salesman returning home in a torrential downpour suddenly found his car radio cut out on him, followed shortly afterwards by the engine of the car. Almost immediately, a blinding beam of blue light then shone down from above, and overwhelmed by a great sense of heat, the driver panicked and fled from the car. The salesman was later to testify that his vehicle became transparent, and his skin began to burn as he lapsed into unconsciousness. Hours later, he was discovered spread-eagled in the road by people in a passing car who called the police. Taken to a hospital, he was quickly discharged, but later strange blotches developed on his abdomen. The examining doctor's opinion was that they were caused by strange rays. The amazing corollary to this story is that a year later, the same man disappeared for 6 days before being found over 500 miles away, sitting on a hill completely soaked. He later claimed to have been abducted by aliens and medically examined aboard a UFO. Then, as before, doctors were impressed by his lucidity and were happy to pronounce him fully compos mentis. In 1965, around 50 Indians of the Tabu tribe were astonished to see 3 tall beings emerge from 2 saucer-like craft that came down close to the Argentinian town of Formosa, near the border with Paraguay. The beings appeared to have luminous halos around their bodies, and the Indians knelt down and worshipped them. Witnesses speak of verbal contact being established with the aliens, who informed the Indians that the space people would eventually come in greater numbers. An Indian who made a close approach to the craft was warned off, and eventually the beings returned to the craft, which took off in a dazzling burst of light. Police who hurried to the scene are believed to have taken numerous photographs, which are reputed to show at least 3 landed saucers and 5 aliens. Beings that emerged from an egg-shaped craft assured a local hunter that before long, the whole world would come to know them. The hunter, named Felipe Martinez, claims to have met the aliens on no fewer than 3 occasions. The first time in 1949, he ran toward a hovering object revolving above the trees, only to be paralyzed by a mysterious burst of energy. From a door in the object, a small being then descended down a ladder. Standing no more than a meter in height, the being was described as wearing a helmet and clothes like a diver's costume. In an interview, Martinez claims to have been taken aboard one of the alien vessels, which oddly was piloted by a crew of 4 beings around a meter in height, and another blonde-haired being just over 6 feet tall. He claims to have been placed in a spacesuit, but this had an alarming effect on his heart rate, and the suit was quickly removed. Conversation with the aliens was slow and difficult, but according to Martinez, the aliens' name for their craft was SEAL.
Welcome to CBS News.
These
sailors dedicate their life to defending freedom.
CBS News Los Angeles.
So excited! Kids are back in school this week and tough choices facing parents.
There's questions that have to be asked.
This was a terrorist attack in Boston.
Vegas was one of the shows that I look forward to.
Are you ready for some tough questions?
Stream live CBS News, true crime, and original docuseries on Paramount Plus.
In 1960,